Here we are. Another episode. The Steelers Chat Live. Sorry about that. Steelers Chat Live here. I'm trying. Let me change the mood. Let me. Hold on. The Steelers Chat Live, y'all. I know it's been one of those weeks, and we've all kind of just been a little crazy. But I just want to start with look. The loss was bad. The loss was absolutely bad. There's nothing you can do about it. Being in that stadium from the beginning, walking to the stadium, you're like, wait, this is a really weird day. It's 60 degrees in the beginning of December in Pittsburgh. Wow, we thought we were gonna have rain. We thought so many crazy things were gonna be happening that day, and it just seemed to be too good to be true. It was like a fraudulent day. Anyway, like I said, 60-degree weather. Get in the stadium. You have an amazing couple of plays. Get down there, can't finish. Okay, same old, same old. I mean, it just it got weird. It got so weird, and I'm gonna bring people up here in a second. But when I tell you that game it was the weirdest thing I've ever been a part of in that stadium. It was quiet. I mean, when Kenny got injured, it was just you could hear a pin drop. It was like, what's happening? And it all kind of I want to say it all kind of changed when he landed and got that personal foul. But anyway, we'll move forward. We'll get on. We have a short week, and the only thing I said, the main thing I was concerned about going into the game, I don't care. The biggest thing I wanted was to come out of this game without significant injuries. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, I won't delay the show any longer. We got some amazing people waiting, and let's get to it. Shout out to CT Pittman and David already in the chat. Y'all already at it. I love it. What's up? Hey David. Hey Alex. Hey Jeremy. How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? I had so much more to say, but I said, you know what? Y'all don't want to hear me talk. You don't want to hear me go down the rabbit hole of everything that I felt on Sunday. It was a wave of emotion. And I'm going to start with Dave because he was there. So I felt like it was probably the weirdest thing I've been a part of. You've probably been to way more Steeler games than me. How did you feel?
I felt great in the very beginning. The offense was moving, and unfortunately, that they had to settle for a field goal off the bat. But it was kind of people were pretty pumped up, and the thing I noticed is when, and this is just my sense, is when Arizona really kind of woke up was when Landon Roberts demarcado out of the game, and then to
Mhm.
fire them up.
Oh, yeah.
And
Oh,
then
yeah.
Kenny Pickett's hurt, and at the time you don't know how bad. You don't know, is he going to come back to the game? But I saw him turf because I'm right near that end zone, and I knew that it was significant. But then they don't make the touchdown. But then it's like, okay, it's Arizona. They got the ball at the 1 yard line. Here comes our defense. And then on the second play, James Conner makes a 6 yard run. He only had 17 yards in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
And that 6 yard run, first of all, gets him out of the hole. Landon Roberts goes down on that play. And then they didn't have an answer for the tight end. And then they scored. And then in the middle of this was once they got the red zone, it's under 2 minutes. And then the weather starts coming in.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw 3 flashes of lightning, and it was like ominous. All of a sudden, you go from a bright day to a dark cloud, and then that's when you could sense a shift. It wasn't like, hey, we've lost the game,
Mm-mm.
but it just definitely shifted. It went from, hey, this is going to be Steelers should win this easy to, oh, we got a game on our hands. So I'll stop right there.
Yeah, he landed. I said that at the beginning. Landon Roberts was a big shift. Um, I imagine you guys were watching at home. Hey, Alex. Hey, Jeremy. What did you guys see at home? Like momentum,
That,
shifting wise.
that first, I want to greet everybody. Good afternoon. Can you hear me? Everything good?
Yeah,
Yep.
got you,
Okay.
Nova.
I was want to say, greet everybody. D, David, Alex, how y'all doing, man? I hope everything is it's a whole lot better than it was Sunday. But yeah, like David was saying, going into the game, my first drive, it looked amazing. I said, man, if the game is going to look like this, even though we wind up only getting 3 points, I said I'm very optimistic about the outcome of the game. We got 3 points on that first drive. After that, and we stopped Arizona twice, if I'm not mistaken. On the second time, they get the field goal, but after that, our play calling kind of just went down. Execution kind of went down. Um, it the the weather started to act up. Not only that, but the defense started to give up a lot more passing yards and run yards than we did on the first drive. We got down to that first 1 yard line and couldn't punch it in on the fourth down after Kenny Pickett got hurt, and it was like all downhill from there. I mean, marching 99 yards is very demoralizing, and I don't know when exactly Atlanta Roberts got hurt, but when he went out, the kind of like the defense went out with him. So they, I yeah, I kind of I kind of like at a loss of words when it came to the productivity, but like I said, the touchdown that they allowed in the rain twice from the tight end, that one the first one didn't count, and it could have. It was similar to Deontay Johnson's touchdown catch that should have counted. Then we went back to the same tight end, and he scored again. So
Mm-hmm.
it
Wow.
was bad after that. James Conner scored twice after that, and the energy pretty much was lost from the team. It seemed like I said, since Roberts went down, Kenny Pickett went down. I think Watt went out in the third quarter, if I'm not mistaken, with an injury. He went down, and I mean, he eventually wound up coming back, if I'm not mistaken. But their defense was not the same at all. That
Yeah.
Boswell mixing field goals, 45-yard
It
field goals.
it was a trick bag of everything. Like everything that kind of could go wrong went wrong. It was weird. The energy was so weird. You could blame the weather, whatever it was. It was just crazy. But Alex, I know you watched it back. I know you saw things that we didn't even see. How are you feeling about it?
About as bad as everybody else here. I don't feel any better watching this thing back. This was literally and figuratively the longest game in Steelers history. 4 hours, 18 minutes. It felt every bit of that. Just this agonizing, slow, rip the band-aid off as slow as possible type game. I agree with everything you guys have said, but I would just take it even more fundamental and foundational. They couldn't get 11 guys on the field offensively, defensively, had 10 guys on offense, had the burn
Yeah.
of time, had 12 on defense late in the game. Got flagged for it. They couldn't snap the football. You got a couple of bad snaps, one that results in a turnover. The Cardinals get a short field. James Conner scores to go 17-3. They really take control of the game. They couldn't align correctly offensively, flagged twice for illegal formation for the tackle not being covered up. They couldn't, win field position with penalties on Miles Killebrew, the captain of special teams, the ace of that unit, two
Everything.
15-yard penalties. So they just couldn't do the basic things. Jeremy, you said you played growing up, right? I think I remember you saying that
Yes,
a
sir.
time before. Would that be acceptable at that level, not
Absolutely
having
not.
11 guys on the field? Yeah, and yet you're
Absolutely
in
not. Especially
December.
if you're the captain.
100%. But even just getting 11 guys on the field, like that is like
Yeah.
JV stuff. It wouldn't fly then. It's not going to fly now in December as you're trying to make this playoff push, as you're in the thick of this thing. So to me, yeah, there's issues on third down and red zone and, yada, yada, but just foundational, fundamental type stuff. Just got to clean it up.
Mhm. Yeah, and you talked about the penalties, and we even talked about Mark Robinson. He had to come in like Landon Robinson's wearing the green dot, ladies and gentlemen. One of the first things I said, there was no discipline. The discipline just seemed to go out of the window. It did not look like a disciplined team at all. Silly mistakes. It just like when I say a Landon again because it was unnecessary, but you know the fire that he plays with, and the whole stadium kind of like was like, ooh, like we all kind of oohed in our stomach when that hit happened because it was, after the play, but you just felt something change and you're like, who are these guys today? And what's up? What's up? And you thought, okay, we got one rain delay or weather delay. They'll get in there, they'll figure some things out, but it just I saw them kind of prepping and coaching up Mark Robinson on the sideline, and it just wasn't enough to get these guys in it. I really had no words for it. I had no words for it.
It felt like
Well,
the first quarter, though.
it's sort of. Go ahead,
Go
Alex.
ahead, David. Okay. I'll just say just something really
No,
quick. I mean, it felt early like this team was in control. They're running the ball well, getting stops
Mhm.
defensively, and then that 4th and goal you guys mentioned, they can't convert there. Arizona goes 99 yards. That turned the page. Until that point, I was confident Pittsburgh was going to be a closer game than you ideally would like, but such is life. Pittsburgh always plays close games. But I thought, okay, you're still going to
Mhm.
win this one, and then that happened and it changed the rest of the story.
Yeah,
yeah,
99 yards. That definitely puts a dagger in you. I don't care if it's three minutes into the game. Like 99 yards, that's a little disheartening. Go ahead, Dave.
yeah. What I was going to say is it's almost as if Arizona reversed the script on Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh wanted to run the ball, and yeah, they held Connor to 17 yards in the first half. He ended up with 105, and they got that lead. They time of possession that second half, and it's like even when Pittsburgh was they went into the no huddle, and they were walking up to the line of scrimmage, and it's like, where's your sense of urgency? You're losing bad at this point, and they got that last touchdown, but it took them over 4 minutes to get that down, and they used almost half the time remaining in the game just to come within 14. And it's almost as if Arizona just reversed the script, and they ran the ball. They used James Conner the way we wanted to use Najee Harris and Jalen Warren, and held on to the lead. They didn't, although they had a couple fumbles, they recovered their own fumbles. They didn't give
Yeah.
the ball away. We were saying Pittsburgh can't afford to give the ball away. And then you had that low snap, which I don't think it
Mhm.
was Mitch Trubisky's fault. A lot of people are saying he should have fallen on it. Well, the ball was at his feet. It's hard to fall down on your feet, and that was well, it was shocking. I guess there was lightning out there, so I got shocked.
So
So
Mason Cole, I do want to talk about a couple things. The offensive line, Mason Cole definitely struggled on Sunday. I mean, you lose your tackle out there to injury. There was just so many things. You really wanted your run game to get going and just couldn't do it. What do you think going into Thursday game, because it's a super short week? We have so many injuries here. How do you see this team offensively bouncing back? Because you're facing the New England Patriots, and if you look at what yes, they're not winning games, but they're also not letting teams run the score up on them either. So if you look at this group as a whole, consider the injuries, consider how they played last week, do you think they have what it takes to muster up, I don't know, 14 points?
to
14
be honest,
points.
offensively, I think you kind of had to go against the grain and throw the ball. I think going into this game, we know that we're down our starting quarterback. Other teams know that we're down our starting quarterback, and they know that running is going to be the primary lane of our production. I think that New England has never been a team, probably in like the past 20 some years that we've been playing them, that you can kind of like run the ball on them. So I think that it's going to be a good effort to try, but you're going to have to establish the pass first. I think that Mitch Trubisky is going to have to come out and really execute when it comes to Pat Fry move. He's going to have to hit those post routes. Hopefully, he doesn't do it without making good throws and good judgments on it. But those deep balls, because he had a few in the game.
Mitch is not scared to throw the deep ball, y'all. He's not afraid to throw the deep ball.
No, he's not afraid to sling it at all. So and that's what I do like about Mr. Trubisky. But it's almost like you take that risk with Mr. Trubisky. He's gonna give you about 1 or 2 a game. If you leave him out there to throw it all game, he's gonna give you about 1 or 2. But I also like that about him, because you have to take that risk sometimes. I think that's what we fell short at sometimes, like at least earlier this season, we're playing with Kenny. Like I said, the last live when we were speaking about Jaylen Warren came on and was speaking on Matt Canada as far as him being reserved, as far as him taking risks and stuff like that. But you have to take those kind of risks, especially when you're down a certain amount of points, or when you're in a position like this where teams are going to stack the box with 7, 8, 9 players because they know that you don't have a starting caliber quarterback. And I mean, Trubisky started before, but we know what Trubisky's capable of and what Trubisky does. So, yeah, I think that we're going to have to go against the grain and come out passing for the most of the game and supplement our game with the run game.
How do you feel, Alex? Do you think this group can muster it together and get 14 points out there? I mean, because 14 points seems like enough to beat the Patriots.
We had the weapons. It's not like we don't have the weapons. The key is execution, getting it there. Obviously the line has to block. The receivers have to get open, and Trubisky has to make the throws.
I think the talent is there. It just comes back to, can the Steelers stop beating themselves, let alone forget about the opponent for a second. They just have to get out of their own way. But I think Jerry made the really good point. And D, you said it as well. Yeah, the Patriots are 2-10, but it's not because of that defense. I mean, that defense has held their last 3 opponents to 10 points or fewer. And they have the number 1 run defense in football from a yards per carry standpoint. The Chargers ran the ball 24 times for 29 yards last Sunday. Austin Eckler had 14 carries, 18 yards with a long of 4. So the Patriots can stop the run. And Bill Belichick, despite all the issues this team is going through, there's still very few coaches that can take away your fastball as good as Bill Belichick. The thing you do well, especially defensively, he's a defensive coach, he takes that stuff away. So you can count on them coming out to stop the run. Still, Pittsburgh has to find a way to run the ball, because they cannot win games if they cannot run the football in. So whether that's some different scheme or design or just the execution of it, they have to run the ball. And to Jeremy's point, the passing game will have to be counted on, but how much do you trust Trubisky to not turn the football over? Pittsburgh's model has been they cannot turn the ball over. There's no margin for error in Trubisky. He's a Bruce Arians type of quarterback. He's a no risk it, no biscuit type of dude. He'll make some plays. He's got a live arm, but he'll hurt you as well. So that's going to be the key factor.
Man, when you said, what did you say just now? And I immediately, I immediately just started thinking about, turnovers. Turnovers are the thing that you associate Mitch with. A lot of people do. And I really do enjoy watching him play, because I know how negative people can be. And so I love the carefreeness that he probably has when he goes out there. And given the new offensive scheme, I'll say scheme or play callers, let's say the new offensive leadership that we have, do you think things change for Mitch? Do you think they make Mitch more comfortable? We saw when Mitch came in against the Carolina Panthers last year, they tried to cater to helping him protect the ball. Of course, Matt Canada's not there. Of course, again, you're playing a team that can stop the run. So how do you think, and I know we did say passing, how do you think they do this? Because wide receiver screens don't really work here.
No.
So what is it going to look like? Is it going to look like a Pat Freiermuth in the middle of the field? Are we going to go to to Kenny's favorite, which is throw into the sidelines? Like what do you think it's going to look like?
David.
Well, I guess one thing is and I think that J-Rock and Alex they're spot on, and what Belichick is known for is taking away your number 1 weapon. And so on offense, what is our number 1 weapon? Is it Mitch Trubisky? Is that viewed, or is it our running game? And I would, they're going to have to figure that out. What is he going to try to take away? And I would think probably the running game. And so now they need to, like Alex was saying, they need to do something a little different to open up the running game. And you know, does that have to establish running game? What do you do differently in order to get the running game going? Because I agree with Alex, is we're not going to be able to depend on the long ball in order to win the game. I mean, because now you're taking the Steelers still cannot afford to have too many giveaways. They've got to protect the ball. But the more you throw long, then the more you're exposing yourself to the other team taking the ball away. So I would try to figure out, is it a screen playing, short passes, or using the pass to establish the running game. In the old days, it used to be use the run to establish the passing game. Well, maybe do the reverse this time. The one I would mention is on Robert, I guess, apparently was limited in practice. And also Ramondre Stevenson, the Patriots' number one running back, he did not practice today, and he has an ankle injury. So that's something to kind of monitor. But it's encouraging. Yeah. I don't know if Roberts will play, but he was at least limited. So that's
he tried to stick it out. He really did try to stick it out after that goal injury.
Linebacker. That's a question.
Miles Jack is back. Miles Jack is back.
Please, we need somebody, anybody. Feel like Bugs Bunny in Space Jam. Help, please.
Mika got brutalized.
Man, and then finished the game with a broken hand.
His head hit the ground where he got stiff armed. Did y'all see that?
Yeah,
man.
And, so to add to what David was saying, and to kind of like what we were speaking about earlier, play action pass is gonna have to be an integral part at least at the beginning. You fake the run, get your pass going, hit some flag routes, some out routes, maybe some middle of the field routes, hitch routes is what they was kind of, and the post routes is kind of like what they was doing last game. But with that being said, that's gonna have to be in place for them to at least get the run started. You can't try to come out and run. It's not going to work. I don't think that just coming out and running is going to work. Whether you got Najee, the best tandem in the league, the best potential, whatever the case may be, the screen game isn't going to work. We seen last week, like I said, the predictability on third and short is that Pittsburgh normally throws screen plays. That one to Deontay Johnson on 3rd and 4 when Kenny threw it at the line of scrimmage. I mean, and the defenders was playing probably like 10, 15 yards out the ball. And as soon as they called hike, they ran right up there and made a tackle behind the line of scrimmage. So those short dink and dunks, that's not going to work. You had to get the ball down the field and back these players off a little bit. Then you can kind of run at them. But doing that, those short dink and dunks and trying to run initially, they're all going to, I'm pretty sure Belichick is going to call 7-8 man in the box. We're going to dare you to run and hope that your wide receivers can't get separation. That's the key to it. Our wide receivers and our tight ends have to get separation, make the plays. Offensive line cannot get holding calls, cannot get illegal shifts and stuff like that, and man down field calls, and they have to execute. Trubisky has to execute, and that's the only way that is going to put fear in the Patriots a little bit for us to be able to run the ball efficiently.
Yeah, I mean, just to go back to your question, and first of all, as you mentioned, I feel so bad for Minka. First game back, breaks his hand, plays it out. I mean, tough dude, but it's hard to tackle as a safety with one hand out there. So he's gonna play, but it's gonna be tough for him for sure. To answer the question about how this team moves the ball, it's a little hard to answer. Sometimes the defense dictates where the ball is going to go. If it's cover 1, cover 2, middle of the field open, middle of the field closed. I mean, I expect Trubisky to take some shots downfield wherever the vacancy is at. Middle field's closed. You're going to work the sidelines. If they're running cover 2, you're going to work pat down the middle. So it's kind of going to be dictated by that. I would just also add, when this team does move the football, and hopefully they move the football, they have to finish. They have to finish drives. I mean, they are 2 of 8 in the red zone the last 3 weeks. I mean, they are getting some opportunities to score, and too often they're coming away with 3 points or empty-handed with turnovers. And so this team is 29th in red zone play on the season, and that has to be corrected because this game's not going to be a shootout. So once you get in the red zone, maximize your opportunity. But again, running the ball will be tough because the Patriots can stop the run. They got a great middle linebacker in Juwan Bentley. He's an old school 260-pound thumper. They got a good hybrid guy in Kyle Duggar from Lenore Ryan. Remember him at the Senior Bowl. He had a really good week down there, and he's been kind of a jack of all trades for them. So they can stop the run. They got some big guys up front in Barbour, etc. So regardless of how you do it, you have to finish drives because they have not finished drives the last 3 games.
Yeah, getting those points. And then we were all stunned. Special teams play was bad. It's sometimes we see bad punting, sometimes we see bad the bad tackling, but overall, collectively, our special teams on Sunday was bad, and we cannot have another game like that. The Patriots will exploit that. They will take full advantage of it. I know Bill Belichick has had a couple games where they haven't scored any points, but I don't think that happens on Thursday. I think they do have opportunity to score points. I've been watching the Pittsburgh Steelers a long time and thinking we're going to go in here and have our way with somebody. Just doesn't even feel right to say. It just I'd be lying to myself. I don't even believe that they can go in there and have them come up with a donut. It don't sit right in my soul. But special teams, we need the punting to be right. We need Boswell to when he gets these opportunities to cash in on them. I mean, it was un-Boswell like. It was almost back when you see Justin Tucker miss the kick the other was the week or so back against the Charger. You were like, wait, what happened? And our special teams play is going to be so significant because those points, that field position is going to matter so much in this game. So no penalties. Get the ball, kick the ball deep and where it needs to go. Don't let big returns happen, and get the field goals when you can get them.
And they've been losing that the last 2 games. And I thought both Cincinnati, that's why that game was so close, especially in the first half. And of course, the Cardinals game, the results were what they were because field position Pittsburgh was consistently losing it. Now, the Patriots have some issues too. Their kicker, rookie Chad Ryland, he's had a really tough year. He's missed a couple of kicks. He missed a 35-yarder that would have tied the Giants. They lose the game because of that. They may switch kickers, not before this game, I would expect, but they're close to that point right now. So they have some issues as well. But yeah, in close games, low-scoring games, field position, special teams, usually comes down to that, and Pittsburgh has to excel there.
Yeah. Anybody else have any special teams comments they wanna talk about before I just really get into the defense some more here?
Just to add on to what Alex said, I mean, we gotta step up, gotta be a little bit more consistent. Like I said, it's very uncharacteristic to see Boswell miss, let alone miss a 45-yarder in any condition. He's normally that solid type of guy, where though we're talking about 1A Justin Tucker, and 1B is Boswell. So I mean, it's normally kind of those two as far as like the best kickers in the AFC, or at least in the AFC North, anyway. But with that being said, it's punting has kind of been up and down all year anyway. I'm not gonna lie, even with Presley Harvey has kind of been like up and down. I remember a couple games where though he was kicking the ball 20, 25 yards and giving the other team the ball on their side of the field. Can't have that, especially against a Bill Belichick team. So if we couldn't stop a young and hungry Arizona Cardinals, I don't think it would be any different against the Bill Belichick-led Patriots.
And I would just say really quickly that special teams really becomes magnified at the end of the year in December. Anyone can kick and punt in September when it's nice. I think the weather in Pittsburgh this weekend is going to be decent. It's not going to be like it is today where it's like sleeting and snowing right now. But still, December weather is some special teams. You find out how good of a unit you have or you don't have. And so, in a situation Pittsburgh's in where they cannot afford to lose this game, they have to excel in all three phases.
Yeah. Before I go to the defense, I do want to
Right.
talk about.
And the thing is, this is a little.
Got Dave here.
I think you're cutting out a little bit, David. Out.
Yeah, I think Dave's cutting out.
Yeah. I was just going to say.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. I was just going to say that I was a little bit envious of the Cardinals punt, expecting to see out of Presley Harvin. He was reversing the field, and if it hadn't been for one touchback, that guy would have been averaging. He would have been netting 50 yards a punt, and that's what I was hoping to see out of Presley Harvin. And I don't know if Presley Harvin has it at this point. He's gotten better, but he's no more than average right now, as far as I can see. And it is key on field position. And even if you clean up the penalties, if you're shanking a punt or something like that, I mean, special teams, they've been neutered a little bit by the NFL with some of the rules, but they still matter. They really can impact the game in terms of field position.
I feel like this is the first time, maybe one of the first times, if not the first time, a team is averaging less than us. So we're averaging 16, and the Patriots averaging 12.3. I don't even know what that means. Like I said, you got to score 14 points around that. 13, 14. It doesn't mean anything. Like, I don't know if it means anything. Yeah, probably not.
Especially
and CP Pittman wants to know what time the game starts. It starts at 8, I believe 8:15 p.m. Eastern on Thursday. So hopefully you'll be able to watch it. But it is nice to see someone scoring less, averaging less points. But again, we already mentioned, their opponents don't run the score up on them either. So they're not allowing a ton of points on them. So going to the defense here, just thinking about the injuries that we've faced, and again, back to Minkah Fitzpatrick. I saw him wearing the cast, and I think I was just so numb that I saw it was black. I saw it, and I was just like, whatever. I didn't think like, oh, he probably broke something. I just was so numb. And then I don't know what TJ Watt's injury was or is, or how he's feeling. And they're not posing him as someone that's not going to play on Sunday. So whatever it was, I guess it was minor, but he looked like he was in a lot of pain. And of course, Roberts, and who else? Someone else got injured on defense that I'm forgetting, and I can't recall who it is.
Well, Keanu Benton has an oblique injury.
Yeah. Right. Yes, he had an injury as well. And I'm just thinking, you're losing your best run stopper. You got Minkah Fitzpatrick again with one arm out there trying to be the next, to be what he was. But we talked about him and how we would hope they would gradually bring him in. Minkah was out there. Minkah did not come off that field. And I know that's what he wants to do. That's what he, kind of commands in that role. But I thought it would be a good idea to kind of like ease him back into this thing. But that's
I said I do not want to see him in this game. I do not want to see him in the Cardinal game. It's just too early to come back. The first thing you do come back is break your hand. I mean, it's kudos to him. I definitely salute him, because that take a lot to kind of, come out there and play a position where you have to tackle every down that you're out there with a broke hand. But
did you see when it happened, Alex? Because I did not see it. I didn't see him go into a tent or anything. And again, like with all the commotion of like getting out of the stadium back in, I don't know when it happened. I know it happened after I noticed it like maybe after the second rain delay, the black. And I thought it was probably a brace or something. I didn't pay that. I saw it. I literally looked right at it. Didn't even bat an eye about it.
Yeah, I don't know exactly when it happened. He said sometime midway through the second quarter. So one of the
Okay.
tackles, I think I could probably go back and find one or two plays it might have happened, but I can't pinpoint for sure. But he's going to play. I want him to play. Pittsburgh has to have this game. They're better with Minka with one hand than without him. And the dude, just a tough guy. I mean, he was going to play. Wasn't it last year? He was going to play when he had the
Appendix.
appendix issue, and he wanted to
Yeah.
keep playing like the one more game. And they're like, "Dude, are you crazy? We're not gonna let you do that." But like, that's the kind of dude. He's a Jersey guy. Like, he's just that kind of dude. So he's a tough dude. He's gonna play in this one. Not gonna be 100%, but they need him out there.
Yeah. So defense wise, going in strategy, I don't know. They have like you said, the one guy's injured. Ezekiel Elliott has been playing, but they haven't been super impactful. I believe Zappy is going to be the quarterback here. Or wait, who's the guy that they picked up? They picked up another guy, New England. Um, I, I don't know. But we know one thing. Bill Belichick will find a way to come in there and embarrass us and make Tomlin look silly. And that's kind of where I'm going next, because there's been a lot of backlash on Coach Tomlin and people just talking about these teams being unprepared for an opponent in which everyone believes they should beat. So I just wanted to get you guys' opinion on how you feel as far as these guys being prepared to beat someone that shouldn't beat them, in so many words.
Well, one thing I wanted to mention is a lot of people are talking about players saying that they took the Cardinals lightly. And I guess there were comments from Deontay Johnson, comments from Jalen Warren. But what Deontay Johnson said, and it's important to keep their full statement there, he said, once we were out there. And so what that indicated to me, it wasn't the preparation. It was the mindset of at least himself and maybe some of his players. Once we got out onto the field, we weren't fully into the game. That's the way I took Deontay Johnson's comment, especially when you include the full statement when he prefaces
Lost it again.
out there. And
I think you're breaking up again, Dave.
To the game.
Connection going out.
Yeah. Dave, we can't hear you. We gotta give you a second there.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I do want to ask you, Alex, what's the weird stat of the game? I know you got something that we've never even thought of or heard of. What was that?
From the Cardinals game?
Yes.
Yeah, it was very quirky, very weird, very depressing. But the last time Pittsburgh this late in the season lost to a team with this bad of a record, a winning percentage, was 1940. Only the second time it's happened. So for Pittsburgh, I know they've had some Tomlin games where they played "quote unquote" down to teams, but never quite in a scenario like this. But just really quickly to address David O's and the comments about overlooking them. Yeah, I think it's hard to put a blanket statement and say the team overlooked them. Maybe some players did. I don't think you can apply that to every. Cam Hayward, I can promise you, did not overlook the Cardinals. He's been in the league long enough to know that you can lose any game. It's happened before. So I think to try to sit there and say that the whole team did or didn't is probably too. It's casting too wide of a net. But if anybody was before, they shouldn't be now. Got another 2-10 team coming to town. You better not overlook anybody now because you saw what happened against the Cardinals. So if it was a situation for certain players, eyes better be wide open right now.
Yeah,
and just to add on.
Yeah, go ahead, Jimmy.
My apologies. Just to add on to what Alex was saying, I definitely don't think that coming in, the Tomlin coaches a team to take it lightly. I think a lot of times that, you got a lot of fans that really are just looking for someone to blame or something to blame. And when the team underperforms, they automatically go to somebody. It's Tomlin, it's Canada, and realistically, sometimes it's just not your day. Sometimes the ball just doesn't bounce your way. Sometimes it's just an off day. Sometimes the day starts out sunny and 60 degrees and then winds up in a monsoon, so it kind of just like happens like that. But I mean, with that being said, I definitely think that there was a lackadaisical approach to it. I definitely think that, like you said earlier, the discipline wasn't there. The mental aspect was not there. Knowing your assignments, being where you were supposed to be, people giving up big plays in the middle of the field. I think JPJ gave up a big third and long conversion on the sideline. It was just bad execution, bad mental fundamentals, and bad execution. So, is everybody else? Did I freeze this time? Everybody else froze.
I'm still here. You got me, Jeremy?
Okay, yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I think D might have frozen, but just to bounce off of that, something that D had mentioned earlier about what the Patriots might try to do with this offense that's struggling, it maybe target the tight end because they're kind of a heavier 12 tight end type of offense. They get a couple of guys, Hunter Henry, who they paid a couple of years ago, Mike Gesicki is a guy from Miami that didn't fit well with the McDaniel offense last year, but he's made players prior to that. And the Cardinals, their passing game ran through one guy who was their tight end, Trey McBride. He made up 60% of their completions and 60% of their yardage and had the touchdown. So I think the tight end is going to be something the Patriots go after, especially if Landon Roberts cannot play.
I mean, the guy had 90 yards through the air, and I mean, it seemed like every time they needed to convert and get significant yardage, he was that guy. So, like you said, he got the touchdown. He could have had two. Well, he had actually two on the same drive, if you want to count that first one. And in addition, I mean, you also had James Conner, who was solid in running the ball. So, I mean, the guy Carter, I think his name is Michael Carter.
Michael Carter, yeah, the third and sixth run that he had.
Yeah, the running back that they had, he had some significant plays in the game. It was just all around bad, like I said, bad fundamentals, bad execution, and not being where you were supposed to be when you were supposed to be there. And I think that, like I said, all of that started when they were not able to convert that 4th and 1 on the goal line. Mm-hmm. And it just kind of went all day. And they had every chance, opportunity, and inkling to win at that point, but not converting that kind of just sucked all the wind out of the stadium.
Yeah. So. Absolutely. I agree with you. Where is your confidence for this team at making the playoffs? How much has that been shaken by this Cardinals loss?
I'm still confident in them able to actually get a rhythm and consistently produce. I definitely think out of these last 5 games, I definitely think that they can at least win 3 to 4 out of 4 of those games. They could have won this game. It was just bad fundamentals. And like I said, once you get a bad turnover, first off, you don't convert the 4th and 1. Then you let them go down 99 yards and score a touchdown. Then you come back up, miss the field goal, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was a 3 and out before that. But you missed the field goal, and then you let them come back down the field and score another touchdown. It was just back-to-back opportunities, whereas though they missed, whereas though they could have capitalized and maybe took the momentum from Arizona. And it could have been a completely different ball game.
And I heard you guys, and I know I had a connection issue, but I heard you guys talking about the remaining of the games, and that was where I was going to go next. Just the remaining of the schedule. Of course, we have Patriots Thursday night. Then you go to Indy to play the Colts. You come back on a Saturday. Add that. So there's that. Then you play again on Saturday at home against Cincinnati. We just saw Cincinnati last night do really, really well against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't think that highly of the Jacksonville Jaguars, so I know it's not, to me, it's not saying a ton. However, they looked good. Browning has gotten, some confidence to me in not just himself, but his teammates have confidence in him. So, and then you go to Seattle. We saw them against the Cowboys look good in Dallas, scoring, 35 points. 35 points. We can't do that. Anyway, and then you go to Baltimore. So you have to win. You have to win 2 of these 4 games. You have to.
And maybe 3. I mean, it might take 10 wins.
So listen, you got to beat the Colts. The Colts are in the playoff picture.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're in there now. They're not in the hunt anymore. They're there. They will take your spot. The Bengals, Are they 500 now? Are they back to 500? I'm not sure if
Yep,
they're
Yeah,
back to
they're back to
500.
660.
So
566.
they've got some type of
Gotta
life.
beat the Bengals.
They got some type of life. And Seattle, of course, they're in the NFC, so we're not really worried. But you got to get that W. You got to get the W. So and then there's the potential for Kenny Pickett coming back maybe at the end of the week 18 with the Ravens looking the way that they're looking right now and giving their schedule. They may be resting players, but doesn't mean it's a win for Pittsburgh. So they may have the number one seed all locked up by then, but we'll see by week 18. But I mean, yes, three definitely. If you care, if you just want to, I don't want to lose in season. You know what you need to do. But as
Mm.
far as playoffs, you gotta win. You gotta win. I don't. Pittsburgh always seems to have like control their own destiny and then mess that up. So, and then Cleveland's not out of it yet. They thank goodness they lost this week. But they're still very much in in it, and we gotta win. Just gotta win games. So over these next couple games, the Colts, the Bengals, the Seahawks, and Ravens. How do you guys see the Steelers kind of faring out, or do you need Thursday to kind of tell what you think Mitch can do?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I'm taking this thing game by game right now because that's where
Yeah.
Pittsburgh's at, and trying to guess what's going to happen 3 weeks from now. I mean, I think people would have thought, last week they'll beat the Cardinals, they'll beat the Patriots, they'll be good, they're going to cruise, and look where things kind of stand today. So I don't take anything for granted, and people thought it was a favorable schedule. The only team Pittsburgh plays from here on out that currently has a below 500 record is New England. The Bengals are
Mhm.
500. The Seahawks are 500. The Colts are 7-5. Anyone realize the Colts are 7-5? They're right back in
Yeah,
this thing.
I did. I
And
realized it. I
yeah,
was
no,
like, we got
you said it, but just
yeah.
broadly to most people. And then Baltimore, yeah, they may have locked up the AFC North by then, but they're probably playing for the 1 seed at that point. This thing's still really competitive, so
Mhm.
there's no guarantee they're going to rest their guys, even if they have won the AFC North. So there are no guarantees going
Mhm.
forward right now at all. But for me, it's all about this game Thursday, getting the win. Because if you lose to the Cardinals and Patriots back to back at home, you're 7-6, and then you're sitting there that long weekend watching the rest of the AFC. The teams you mentioned, Houston, Denver, in this thing as well. It's
Yep.
going to be one long weekend. So take
Mhm.
Thursday and go from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just to add to that, like Alex was saying, those it's a few key games that you gotta lock up. Like I said, I'm with you needing to lock up Cincinnati. You had to lock up your conference game of Indianapolis, who, like you said, is playing good right now. Baltimore is not really probably gonna really matter because I think that they're on such a winning streak, and they also already have the number one seed. So I don't really think that we're going to catch up to them. But as far as like the production and what the possibility is, do we have the capability of doing it? Of course, we have the capability of winning 3 or 4 of these games. Do I have the confidence? I'm not exactly sure I had the confidence just because of what we have and how they may play him. They may play Trubisky very soft, like kind of like in reserve, kind of like how they kind of coddled Kenny. If I'm not, if I can be honest, I think that they didn't give him enough opportunities to kind of throw it down the field. And I think that they know what Trubisky can do, but he's only going to be, given so much leeway. So I think they're going to kind of handcuff him with that. And I think the stats as far as like what he can do as far as throwing is kind of going to look like what Kenny did earlier this year.
Yeah. I am with you, Alex, on taking it game by game. It's hard not to look ahead because it's really hard not to look ahead because you know this team. A easy W is nothing's easy. Nothing's easy. Everything is hard. We make everything just complicated and just heartbreaking and so many things that we do are just hard to watch sometimes, and I feel like they like winning that way and and losing the games that they're just supposed to win, and winning the tough ones are crazy. But you look at the picture, and again, Denver, the Texans, who have an advantage over us. You cannot you can this Colts game is so important. I know this one is too, but that Colts game is so important. They have to win that. If they do not win that game, it's pretty much it's a dagger. It's a big dagger into their playoff chances. It's just it is what it is.
And just to be clear, they the 6 seed, right? I need a 6 seed. We're number 5, and I think they're number 6, right? Because they're 7-5 too.
Yeah, I think they are right now. Yeah, I think I saw the picture a little earlier today, and they were
Yeah,
right
like you
down
said,
there.
we don't like you said, we don't win that one. It's a wrap.
It's a dagger. I mean,
And then just one thing about the schedule objectively that we pointed out when the schedule dropped back in May, week 17, week 18, at Seattle, at Baltimore. So you got 2 road games, one at their place, that's a tough place to play, and then the long trip home to play at Baltimore week 18. So just being on the road in those venues is going to be difficult. So just to point that out as well.
back to back. Yep, back to back. It's gonna be tough, but do you? I'll go back to this game on Thursday. It being the Color Rush game, all the hype that comes with Color Rush. Do you think it matters, given everything that's happened from Sunday? Do you think the Color Rush, you know, momentum and hype helps this team? You look good, you play good, right?
I hope something helps them because they gonna need it. So I mean, if it helps them, put a battery in your back to be more energized and play more strategically, play more as a team, play more sound, play more smart, and strategic. Excuse me. If they can't get that fundamental sound based off of the feeling good, playing good, it's not even gonna matter. It's not gonna matter. You might as well. You might as well play your away jerseys.
Right. But I do like maybe they need some energy. They need some life brought back into them. So, not doesn't hurt for sure. They've only lost 1 game, I think, last year with the Color Rushes. So I'll take it. But like Jeremy said, once the ball's kicked off, it's all about everything else.
Right. David said he's wearing his Bumblebee jersey. I love a good Bumblebee. I think I have one up here somewhere. Yeah, it's Antonio Brown one. I love like I can't fit it no more, but hey, it's up there. So I love a Color Rush. I wish the circumstances were different. And another thing I do want to hash out before we roll out of here tonight. And thank you guys again for coming. But the media, the players seem to not be wanting to talk to the media. I haven't actually watched fully anyone's interview, but the vibe I'm getting is, and some of the things people tell me, the guys don't want to talk anymore. They don't want to talk. And I know after a loss, it's hard to talk, but I think they feel like talking to the media is doing more harm as a unit than good. And I just wanted to get just some opinions. You guys have probably watched way more post-game interviews and practice interviews than I have, because I've kind of stayed away from it on purpose because it bothers me. So how are you guys feeling about the guys and the media? I know it's a part of the job. They got to do it, for the most part.
I don't have much of a take, to be honest. I mean, as you said, whenever you lose, kind of the thing, you just don't want to give them a quote. You're frustrated. You don't want to say anything. And, you're worried about keeping the locker room together, all those types of things. So, Najee, I think in particular, was pretty not talking much with the media today. And that's his right. And that's fine. I get that. All I care about is that they play well. I don't care about, what Tomlin says in a press conference or a player does or does not say. You got to produce. You got to win. You do that. Everything else takes care of itself. So, I mean, end of the day, of course, I would like these guys to maybe give a little bit more insight in, just from my, media hat perspective. But I understand the position that they're in, and all I care about is that they play well.
Yeah, and I can understand continuing to lose and continue to play bad, and even games when you do win, but you still play bad, you got the media kind of like downing you to ask you the same type of questions. Why can't y'all produce? Why you can't get yards? Why you can't stop the run? Why you let this team outgain you? Why, and either is it Mike Tomlin? Is it Mike Canada? And these are the same over and over questions these players are probably being asked all year. So it's probably a thing of exhaustion. It's probably also a thing to where though, they may not want to say anything that may, harm their job. I mean, because they still have a job to go out there and do every week. So, I mean, this is still a business. I think that, you get media to ask questions, whereas though it may put the players in a predicament, and then next thing you know, they sitting on the bench. You don't know why, but or they're not playing as much. That I mean, realistic that
I
happens.
mean, I don't know. I don't personally know what
Or
Duke said or did, but we saw his his playing time got, clipped for whatever he said or did. So hey, you never
yeah,
know.
yeah, or you got players like Deontay Johnson getting fined by the NFL because of what he said about the refs. So a lot of
Mhm.
times you got, like I said, you got these players having to, kind of getting handcuffed and saying, all right, well, we all know we played bad. The numbers don't lie. You really want to go into it, watch the game over again, and you can see for yourself to see why this didn't happen. But I think those are kind of some of the reasons why players are not really wanting to talk to media, especially when, like I say, when you're not playing good.
Yeah, and it's been constant, right? These guys haven't been putting up a ton of points on offense. So offensively, I know these guys are frustrated. To go down a stretch, you have to be able to any given Sunday be able to put up 30 points on a good team. You're not that's the frustrating part to me. And I know those guys, they want to go out there and win. Everybody wants to do the good. Nobody's going out there to lose from the staff to the players like that the intent is to win the game and to go down there and score. And when you're beating yourselves, and we've talked execution all season long. This is not new. I don't care if it's Matt, I don't care if it's Eddie, I don't care if it's Mike, I don't care if it's Jim, I don't care if it's John. If you're out there not knowing what you're supposed to be doing, offsides, false starts, illegible man downfield, what is it? Whatever the penalty is, if you're out there making careless mistake, not having enough men on the field,
I would say,
just
especially 12 men in the huddle.
yeah, like, or yeah, 12 minute huddle, not enough minutes on the field. Like all of those things, the small things that you're supposed to come out of practice. And
Mhm.
and this is a no-brainer, because you're a professional and this is what you guys have been doing since you were children playing this game. And it's extremely frustrating. It's extremely frustrating. And no, I wouldn't want to talk about it either because we know better.
Then,
So
then, then,
I feel bad.
then too, to add on to that, like I don't want to make excuses for the players, but we had a lot of injuries, especially in the middle of the linebacking field,
Mhm.
and some of those players aren't used to coming in the game and just being ready to, come on the field and come off the field like that. So I mean, they're probably, defensive players, linebackers, defensive linemen, they're probably not used to that. So I mean, like I said, I'm not making excuses for them because it's something that you should practice. But in
Mhm.
game, if you haven't really gotten the reps or gotten that time, and then all of a sudden the player goes down, and you got to step up and be that role, you don't really. I really used to taking all them snaps. So it may be like, right, I am supposed to be in the game. So
We called your number.
right,
Like,
right.
get in here. This is your play. Get in here.
I get it. Yeah.
I would just say two other quick things from the media perspective. I know it's not in the locker room, but I really enjoy Patrick Peterson's podcast, the All Things Covered with Brian
Oh,
McFadden.
yes.
I think it's really
Yes.
insightful. I think he's always honest, good times, bad times, and I've learned a lot from him. So I've really enjoyed listening to that from a media perspective. And then to the other point, at this stage of the season, what else is there to say? I mean, they've said the same for me. Sometimes
Over.
getting on a Monday show to recap the game, it's like just play last week's episode because we just talked about the same stuff. I mean, at some point there
Same.
was just nothing else to be asked, nothing else to be
Mhm.
said. It's just about executing and actually changing the story. So you're just kind of tired
Whenever
of it from that viewpoint.
we've been talking execution all season. Okay, so these guys, like, they know it, and I like I said, I think that's the thing that's under their skin is like we are our problem. We
Mhm.
got to get out of our own way, like you said earlier. One last thing I do want to ask you about the Trace McSwirly. Is it? I'm not saying his name. Pick up. You guys have any
McSorley.
any
McSorley.
McSwirly?
Trace
Any
McSorley.
feelings? Any comments on that before we wrap?
I'm extremely non-confident in this pickup. I think that we have a lot of options that were available. As you may know, me and D are both in Maryland, but I'm specifically in Baltimore. I got a chance to see Trace McSorley in game for the Ravens before he went to New England. And he didn't make the Ravens roster for a reason. He didn't make the Patriots roster for a reason. And these are things that, I'm not going to completely discount on him because he's an NFL caliber quarterback, but I think that you have a whole lot better viable options. And I'm not sure if it's a money thing, if it's a relationship thing. I'm not really understanding, but these are not viable options. That I would have chose to kind of like back up. But that's just my personal opinion.
Well, I think if we're seeing Trace McSorley in a Steelers game, we got some bigger problems because a lot of stuff had to have happened at that point. Because you got Mitch and Mason there, and Kenny's going to come back at some point. Hey, McSorley threw a 70-yard touchdown on Pittsburgh back in 2020, so I mean he made a play against them.
That ain't hard to do either.
But I mean, again, he shouldn't play, but he might give you some scout team looks against some mobile quarterbacks. Lamar in Week 18, and Minshew could run a bit with Indianapolis. Browning's got a little bit of mobility to him, so I think McSorley can kind of run some scout team stuff and give yourself a look against some mobile quarterbacks, and there's a usefulness in that.
Yeah, I mean, we need him in practice, so we'll just leave it there. But I thought it was interesting. I did not have that on my bingo card for for quarterback pickup. So that was a shocker. I was shocked to see that. But I want to thank you guys for coming on today. I know we had some technical difficulties, but I do appreciate it. It was not the show that I wanted because I wanted to be talking about how we could be taking this momentum into something amazing. But hopefully we can have that conversation after Thursday night. But again, Alex, Jeremy, thank you so much, everybody. Make sure you're following these two guys. Alex over at Steelers Depot is doing a phenomenal job. I know he's busy. So again, thank you for just hopping on here and spending some time with us because I know you got a bunch of stuff got going on. And Jeremy, his show is going to be coming on soon too. So make sure both of you go ahead and let everybody know where they can follow you.
Absolutely. My name is right on the screen. My name is Jeremy, but you can follow me on JRock the Polymath, on Instagram and on Facebook. But like I said, I do some things on YouTube as well, so I kind of hold that off. But I appreciate you for having me again, D.
No problem.
Yeah, thank you, D. Just Steelers Depot, the site to check out. Got you guys covered for Thursday. I was watching the Patriots offense before this. I got to go back to the Patriots offense. I'm not excited about it, but wanted to take a break, and thank you for having me on.
Thank you. And thank you also, David. And he's also a contributor to Steelers Depot as well. So check him out there. All right, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Thank you for joining me. And let's go Steelers. We'll get this W and we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Let's go Steelers.